it's Jazz. It's Giving Up the Ghost podcast time. So welcome back. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for interacting with us on Facebook. Wow, amazing. Good times. Where do I start? So thanks to everybody that came out to Spirits with Spirits last week. Thank you to Chris Reed with the Winnipeg Ghostbusters. That was pretty cool. And if you're new to the podcast or new to our events, we do this once a month at the King's Head Pub, Spirits with Spirits, co-hosted by myself and Ashley from the Winnipeg Paranormal Group. So in saying that, I believe it's May 29th, the last Wednesday of May, guests to be announced, or topic for that matter. I'll be making a road trip with Ashley and Kelly of the Winnipeg Paranormal Group. We will be at the Brandon Museum. If you're in Brandon, definitely get your tickets and check this thing out because, man, I tell you, the public investigations are pretty cool. Creepy cool, in fact. That's coming up. And then we have the market at the end of June. More details on that on our Facebook pages from the lovely ladies at Dos Brojas, the Two Witch Co., and I don't know, there's like lots of stuff going on, but I can't think of anything at the top of my head right now. Just wanted to intro this week's episode. This week's episode is the continuation from February's Spirits with Spirits. That was our sleep paralysis / shadow man. And today's episode is basically the open mic portion where we invite you on stage to tell us your paranormal experience. Met a lot of lovely ladies, Alexandra / Sandra. I'm not sure which name she goes to. Check out her page. She is actually the one who curates the Manitoba Métis history page of the fur trading era. She's a historian. Very cool stuff. I love her stuff. All her graphics are all hand-drawn, very informative. We've referenced some of her stuff back in Halloween time. Love this girl. She's amazing. Would definitely love to sit down and, just have another chat with her at some point. Hopefully that's in the cards. And there was another lady by the name of Heather, Sandra, and of course Gio or George from the Spiritist Society. He's a fantastic guy, very full of knowledge, and we appreciate every time he comes out because we learn something new. And saying that, remember to reach out to us at any of our socials: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. We have a YouTube channel. Did you know that? Yes, we do. I try and get videos out as much as I can. Me and Cher are planning to sit down real soon for some more crazy drunken episodes. Just kidding. We're not drinking much. Anyway, that's to come up shortly. And that's it. Please definitely reach out to us at givinguptheghostpodcast@gmail.com if you have a story that you would love to share, or even just say hi. We're pretty cool. We're pretty harmless, I guess. We don't bite too hard. And as always, remember to live every day like it is your last, but never give up the ghost. Ciao for now. We're going to make 2 draws tonight. Ooh. Because that's how much we care about you guys.
So thanks to the King's Head, we have a Jets rock glass from Crown Royal for one of the prizes.
Thanks, Carly. Thanks, King's Head.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot the sign.
Oh, we didn't scare off too many of you. Actually, just kidding. The other 2 people had to go because they have to get up for work tomorrow. So I have to work tomorrow. I'm here. Unless that lottery ticket kicks in.
We can hope.
Laptop in the trash.
All right, so just a reminder, you do need to be present at the end of the night to win the prize. So, all right. So, first person up, if we're ready, Sandra A.
Go up there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Come
please.
on up.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please.
And just a reminder, just because I have the sign up here already, you're still more than welcome to come up and throw your name on it, all right? So nothing's stopping you from coming up and sharing your stories.
Can everybody hear me? Welcome. My name is Sandra. I'm a lifelong empath. I've lived in Winnipeg off and on for quite a few years. I guess I really had the privilege of, I lived in the North End for over 20 years, and I lived in a really highly active haunted house for 20 years. We had different things happen. We found a secret room in our basement that turned out to be a coal chute.
Oh, yeah.
So when we bought the house, of course, we couldn't tell because there was paneling behind it. So when we did buy the house, knocking around there, my son was small at that time. We found the secret room where we opened it and it was full with all these goodies. So my son kept hearing things in the basement. Our main bathroom was in the basement. We had 2 dogs, big German Shepherd. They refused to go in the basement. So my son started being obsessed with crosses and aliens. He'd go through these phases because it was a 2.5-story house. So during that time, my mom babysat one day during the day, and the main bathroom, you had to go downstairs, and the secret room was opened at that time. And he was about 2 or 3 years old, so he stopped and said, "Gran," he goes, "how come that man's standing there staring at us?" So she didn't see anything there, so she didn't want to scare my son, and she just kind of laughed it off or whatever. But I would see things all the time. The bathroom, again, was in the basement. It wouldn't close the door all the time, and sometimes I'd go for a shower 12 midnight. I'd see a shadow passing through the basement. So whatever it was, I don't think it was malevolent, because I'm a fur trade historian. So I've studied the fur trade in Winnipeg. I'm a Métis, a Red River Métis. So I have big roots with the fur trade. Cuthbert Grant Jr. from Grant's Old Mill is my great uncle. So I have a vested interest in history. So I did find out that then we were digging in our weeping tiles 12 feet down, so we didn't want to pay somebody at the time, so my husband did it, ex-husband did it with the shovel. So what we did found, the whole length of our house was bones. So I thought, okay, it's kind of creepy. Human bones. It wasn't animal bones, because I grew up on a farm. I know the difference between a cow and a human. So the whole length of a house we found human bones, and I thought, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. Contacted the historical or Manitoba Heritage in Winnipeg here, and he says, well, he goes, if you want to proceed with this, and I'm aware that underground cemeteries with the water travel, so coffins break open, bones travel with underground. So he says, if you want to pursue this, we're probably going to have to label it as a crime scene and stop all this work, and you can't do your weeping tiles and all this. Do you really want to go that route? And I thought, well, not really, because we got to get this work done because our basement's leaking. Its house was built in 1913, beautiful character house. So I said, nah, we'll just put the bones back in the pit. We call it the pit, and left it there. So I kind of always been around paranormal my whole life, and Métis people, we're spiritual people. And like I said, I'm now working on a book in regards to downtown Winnipeg, because really, if you really think about it, Winnipeg downtown, you don't realize that
that's our favorite topic.
Well, the people that are buried there, Union Station, I used to go there as a kid, and my grandpa used to say, my girl, he goes, we're driving over sacred ground. And Upper Fort Garry, the gate is left, my great-great-grandfather, John Wells, was a factor there. He's supposedly buried at one of the gates there, and I found an old picture from the 1840s or whatever, the Indian mounds that were there. So there were Indian mounds, and I guess at the late 1800s in Winnipeg, it was a huge curiosity to loot. Yes. And to steal Indian artifacts and stuff like that. And it was it was a fascination. So I have a picture that there's one Indian mound right by the gates of Upper Fort Garry. And Winnipeg, literally, and I did interview, I think, a mayor, past mayor, that he told me, he goes, yeah, downtown Winnipeg, you're walking over thousands of dead bodies. I said, yeah, I know that. Especially at the Forks, too. People don't realize at the Forks, the thousands of people that were buried because of smallpox. And I grew up in Selkirk, Manitoba, Lower Fort Garry. I volunteered there for years. And the stories I've talked to Indigenous elders of, they found a woman, I think where my parents live on Eveline Street, an Indigenous, she was sitting up, and they put her back there. And the stuff that is going on there, and then of course Fort Mariposa and all these Lover Andre, this missing mysterious fort. So as a fur trade historian and a Métis, the stories in Winnipeg are astronomical, especially in downtown Winnipeg. Every time I go there, go to the Forks, Union Station, I think of the thousands of people that I'm walking over. And, you know, buildings had to come
I
up.
wasn't before, but I will now.
No, but you know, I sense that as an
for sure.
I go to Upper Fort Garry all the time, and I can feel the people there, and especially at the Forks, at the the joining of the Assiniboine and the Red River. The people there, it was a red light district before the Forks, the immigration sheds at the Forks. Right. So I kind of grew up in the paranormal world, and I've been accepting because I see things, so I can go somewhere and I'm instantly transformed back to the 1800s. That's my vision when I go somewhere. Something happens to me that I just get transformed. And I did do paranormal research for, I think, 8 years in the States, went to New Orleans. I have a little necklace that I made of red brick dust. If you could picture me in the French Quarter digging up bricks and making my own brick dust, and somebody said, "You're going to get arrested." And I said, "No, I got to get," because I seen the movie Skeleton Key, right, with the red brick dust. So I figured, here you see this crazy woman in the French Quarter, New Orleans, digging up these red brick dust, and I have jars and jars of the stuff, red brick dust. So spirituality to me is kind of important. It's kind of a way of life for me. It is who I am. And I befriended a lot of paranormal groups because I went to England, I went to Scotland to research my Métis heritage, and a group in Hastings, they go to York all the time. They gifted me, and I don't know what to do with it because I know Zach Bagans at his museum in Las Vegas wants it. But I don't want to give it to Zach.
Do not.
Because he's too Hollywood. At the beginning, Zach was okay, but he sent a message. He goes, Sandra, the Ouija board, it was a Ouija board that I got from my friends. They do work out of Hastings in the UK. They do residential haunting. They've been doing it for 20 years. They took a Ouija board. They're into Aleister Crowley and all these. So they took this Ouija board and they used it at some places where Aleister Crowley was and all these highly haunted places in the UK. And they said, well, Sandra, we're going to gift it to you. So they sent it across the pond to me, and I have that Ouija board. To me, Ouija boards are very dangerous. I don't use them. I get very annoyed when I see them at Hans Christian Andersen, that they sell them for children. It just boggles my mind. This is not a toy. Like, I have the Ouija board at home. It's highly charged. I have it protected because whenever I go places, I'm a big smudger. I smudge, I protect myself, I do this and that. But I have that Ouija board, and I know it's been places where Aleister Crowley was, and I know all about Aleister Crowley. I've done a lot of research. And there's a guy that runs a Ouija board museum in Colorado. He wants it. He does a lot of Hollywood work, but I'm debating. I want it to go to a good place where somebody can use it, not use it, but have it proper. So for me, I guess my story is...
Good intentions.
Yeah, that's right. So...
Come talk to me after.
Yeah. I was going to bring it
Not
for the
even
Ouija
just me,
night,
but-
but like I said, paranormal for me it's in my DNA. Like I said, being a Métis person, we're spiritual people. We, the earth and everything. When I go to Lower Fort Garry, believe it or not, for their Halloween program a couple years ago, I was the troll under the bridge. I said, let me at it. I dressed as a troll and I was rolling around outside. They said, Sandra, you're perfect. I said, you bet I'm perfect. Because I still believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that there is a cemetery at Lower Fort Garry.
100%.
I know that. I've seen it. Because when I was a troll under the bridge there, I would see a soldier there through the mist. And I would acknowledge him because I think for me, like when I did a lot of paranormal research in the South, Texas, Louisiana. It's a whole different ball game down there. I did, stuff with lynchings and all that kind of stuff. I know what's out there. We did a lot of demonic stuff with demonic entities that they do exist. Believe me, they exist. And if you don't, we used to get called in when people were murdered and stuff. I used to go there because I'm an empath. I think for me, how I work is I don't want to know about the location ahead of time, because that doesn't do me any good. I want to go in there fresh and not know anything about it, and then I can do this and do that. So we did a lot of investigations that were emotional draining, that almost destroyed us, because they were just that evil and that negative. So I guess my message to everybody is, it's not like Harry Potter, and it's not like supernatural and all this stuff. This stuff is real, and you have to look at it through the lens of, there are stuff out there on different dimensions that we can't see, that are there. And if you don't protect yourself and, I'm going to do this. I mean, I have tarot cards. I collect them. What I do is I read runes. That's my specialty, is my runes. But I go in there with, I'm always about protecting myself, and I think that's the message that we have to, especially with Ouija boards. Like I said, my pet peeve is going into a kid's store and saying, not for ages, whatever, because the one that I have, that it's been to all these highly, and I can document it because this group will, they've signed everything that, and I've read all about Aleister Crowley and his whatever. But I think my message to everybody is, these things exist, and you have to really go in there with good intentions and protect yourself, because there's a whole different world out there. And next time you're in downtown Winnipeg, remember, folks, you are walking on literally hundreds and thousands of people. I have archaeological proof of that. So different perspective when you're in downtown Winnipeg. And the Forks, I even asked the Forks, why isn't there a smallpox memorial at the Forks? Because hundreds and hundreds of people died there. It doesn't make money. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you so much. Oh shit, I gotta keep my job now. That's a shame, eh? Gotta quit my job now.
All right, next up we have Heather. Woo!
Not a competition, it's okay.
Hello, Heather. Hello.
Feel free to take the microphone out of the holder if you need.
There we go. Hello. Hi, I'm Heather, and my friend Sandra and I have bonded over the whole ghost story stuff.
Love it.
Once we found out we were both into the paranormal, we really became fast friends. And also, the other people at our table are just also friends of ours that we didn't know were going to be here, and there they are. We're just like, hey, cool, more friends. So yeah, so Carrie's having a birthday. Buy her a drink. So anyway, I had to say that. So way back in, it was 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. I used to be a youth care worker, and for a long time, things were really great, and then I lost my job, and so then I decided to become a youth care worker for another organization. But this organization decided to put me on the night shift for a boys' home. So I was the night person. I was the only one there. It was a great big huge house in Point Douglas, so one of the oldest neighborhoods in Winnipeg, and I would be there all night from 11 to 7 in the morning. So the first encounter I had was, let's see now, there was one bedroom, like there was 4 bedrooms upstairs, plus a bathroom upstairs. So there's one large bedroom, a second large bedroom, one small bedroom, and then a third kind of medium bedroom. So they took one of the large bedrooms and they turned it into like a TV room. So then the boys were just in the other 3 bedrooms. So the large TV room always had a weird feeling about it. Every single night I'd go in there, and it was just like, oh man, you get the EBGBs when you walk into a place, right? And you're just like, ugh, something's not right here. And so I couldn't figure out for the longest time what is with this room. And it wasn't any other room, it was just that one room. At first. And then the boys were great kids, and they said, have you seen the old man yet? And I'm like, what old man? And there's an old man, there's a ghost. You know this place is haunted, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, you guys, right, sure, right? And they're like, no, really, it's haunted. And I'm like, oh, okay. So sure enough, one night, I was sort of I'd worked there a few months now, and then I was sort of in a sort of half asleep state because I was really getting sleep deprived at this point. And so I'm sitting in a chair, and off in the corner, like the doorway to the office is there, and I'm sitting there's just a wall in front of me, and the office door is there, and beyond the office door is the kitchen. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm sort of like half asleep, and I look up, and sure enough, there's an old man looking at me. And I'm like, woo! And then he was gone. Right? And it was like, wow, okay, yep, old man, yep, okay. And he looked kind of like my dad, which was really spooky, because I was just like, all right, that looks like dad. So it was really odd. And so that was the first encounter, and that was the first thing that happened. And then other staff members started talking about the cat. And we were all like, cat? What are you talking about? There's a ghost cat as well. And I'm like, what do you mean as well? They're like, there's an old man, there's a ghost cat. And I'm like, all right, guys. So I didn't want to buy into this because I'm the overnight person, right? And I'm like, I don't want to believe this stuff right now. And so I'm sitting there again alone, and sure enough, I feel a cat brush against my leg. Wow. And I'm just like, okay, kitty. All right. And then another time, I was taking the laundry downstairs to the basement, and then, I don't know if anybody else has had this experience, but it's like, you see something and it's full, like it looks real. It looks absolutely 100% real, like you're looking at the cat. The cat was sitting on the mat, and it was sitting on the mat in front of the laundry machine, and then I blinked and it was gone. And I was like, whoa, I saw the kitty. It's a black and white cat. And I was just like, okay, yeah, there's definitely a cat. And then the other time with the cat, the last thing that happened with the cat was I was putting things away on a shelf in the basement again, and there was a shelving unit behind me, and I knew the cat was over my right shoulder. Like I could feel the cat's energy just looking down at me, right? And I'm just like, I know that's you, kitty. I knew it was the cat. And I was just like, okay, kitty's up on the shelf. So that was weird. But one of the scariest things, though, that happened was this one room, this very small room. I think it just housed, I can't remember now, but I think it just housed the water heater. So it was this very small room with a water heater in it. And it had some old paint cans and things like that in there, too. So the employer asked me to go downstairs one time and rearrange the paint cans or get rid of them or do something with these paint cans. So I walk in there, and the door slammed shut behind me. And I was just like, okay, but thank God there was a light. And then, like, I'm doing my thing, and I'm turning around, and I just get this horrible, horrible feeling of something really bad happened in there. And it was just the most disgusting feeling ever. And I was just like, I had this feeling that it was a child that had been abused in there. It was just terrible. It was just the most awfulest feeling. And I just ran out, and I was just like, okay, I'm not going in that room anymore. I'm just not. I'm just like, nope, somebody else can get the big cats. I'm not doing it, nope. And so, yeah, that was weird. And then the last thing that happened, and that was scary enough as it is, but the last thing that happened was one of the fellow staff members said that he saw a skeletal hand come across a doorway, like on a doorway, this skeletal hand. And I was just like, are you serious? And he's like, yep. And I was just like, oh my God. So I really didn't want to work there after a while. It was really horrible being the night person. But I did ask my employer if I could smudge, right? And he said no. And I was just like, oh, why can't I smudge? And he wouldn't let me smudge. And so then I did other sort of ritual things without the smudge, and it made things better for a little while. And then eventually I lost the job. But the most interesting part of the story, though, was at the end, I had a friend of mine who was very, very empathic, as well as, I don't know what you call her. She's a sensitive or whatever. She could sense things. And I asked her, like, we were at a festival on that street. And I asked her, I said, do you want to go down the street with me and you can pick up the house that's really, really haunted? And she, like, just to test her, right? Because I didn't believe her. And she's like, sure, let's do this. And like, it was bright daylight, lots of people around, noise, it was a festival going on. And she's walking down the street with me and she goes, that house right there. And it was the house. And I was like, yep, you're right. Okay, I believe you now. And she goes, and the other two houses next to it are as well. Those three houses are all really, really bad. And I was just like, okay, that makes sense then. Because yeah, it was horrible being in that house alone at night. Oh, it was terrifying. Like the bad people weren't outside; they were dead inside. It was just horrible. But yeah, that was one of the instances that I had. So yeah, so thanks for listening.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing.
All right, next. Next up, we have Sandra M.
That's amazing. Hi, welcome.
Thanks. Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, there I am. Okay.
Yeah, feel free to pull the microphone out if you need. Just pull. That works.
Hi. Okay, there we go. All right, well, I came today with a story, a couple stories about sleep paralysis and shadow men, but I've been a little inspired to introduce myself. I grew up in a haunted house. I moved into the house when I was 5, and we lived there until I was 14. My grandmother actually documented every instance that happened, and I still actually have the loose leaf paper with what she's written on it, and I get all shaky when I talk about it because the ghost itself, the one ghost that we knew of for sure, we called him George. The whole family called him George. We don't know why, but he really only had contact with me, and my mom was the only other one who sort of experienced things. But I was the one who talked to him, and I'm the one who met him, and I'm the one who can still see him in my head right now, sitting on the end of my bed talking to me. So around the time that we moved into that house, my mom started to having sleep paralysis dreams, and she never had them before. And she used to tell me when I was a teenager about how awful they were. She would wake up and not be able to move and not be able to scream, and there was someone either standing in the doorway or a dark figure over her bed. But her dreams became a little bit more animated, and unfortunately, she passed it on to me. So by the time I was a teenager, I started experiencing the same kind of paralyzing dreams where I couldn't move. Again, I would also see tall figures. Never saw a man in a top hat, though. But did see other figures. But my dreams went that extra mile. So in the way that I would think I was awake. So I would get up to go to the bathroom, and I would go turn on the bathroom light, and the light wouldn't turn on. I'd be like, oh, that's weird. The light must have burnt out. Well, it didn't take me long to realize I was dreaming, and I could say it in my head while I was there. So I would get up and I'd go to put on my pink slippers and they'd be blue. And I'd be like, shoot, I'm dreaming. So the one that I wanted to tell you about today, I have one really fast one, but the one I wanted to tell you about today was probably the most scary one. So I was living with my mom still, and my younger sister was living with us, and we had decided we were going to have a nap. And it's interesting that you say you always had like a lot of these dreams happen at night. Anytime I have these paralyzing / crazy dreams, I don't even know what to call them, it's dusk. It's usually dusk, and I'm having a nap, and I just still remember this day when I really woke up, the violet, like the whole room was violet with the dusk, like that. It was kind of an eerie looking, even when I was awake. So anyways, I fell asleep. She was on the couch, and I had grabbed a bunch of blankets and pillows, and I was kind of curled up beside her on the floor. So she was above me, and I was on the floor. And so we both fell asleep and had a nap. So I woke up at some point, and I looked across, and there was an armchair across from me, and my dad was sitting in the chair. And my dad lived in Prince Edward Island. He didn't live here in Winnipeg, where I was, and so I wasn't scared. I just knew that it was weird. And it just kind of, he didn't talk, much like the hooded or the dark figure, just stared at me very silently. It started to creep me out a bit, because as I started to realize he shouldn't be here, this isn't actually happening. So I'm like, oh, I must be dreaming. So I had kind of at that point had a few of them, so I kind of knew how to kind of soothe myself back to sleep. So next time I opened my eyes, my grandmother was sitting on the chair, and she had been dead for several years, which I realized in my dream. I'm like, you're supposed to be dead, you're actually not supposed to be here. So again, just staring at me, not making a noise. So I'm starting to freak out a little bit now. But I guess I managed to fall asleep again, because when I woke up again, now it was this black mass, this just sitting in the chair, but it was more I could just make out the form. It didn't move either, and it didn't say anything, and that's when I started to freak out, and I tried to wake myself up. So in my head, I was writhing, in my head, I was screaming, but I wasn't actually moving at all. And I couldn't move, I couldn't get up, and I couldn't wake myself up. So I guess I did something. I like that idea of shaking that, trying to move something. I really like that idea. Anyways, I woke up. I woke up and there was nobody sitting in the chair. So I just was like, whew. I'm looking around. Like I said, there was kind of a violet light in the room. I'm like, okay, I'm awake. So I look up, my sister's still sleeping on the couch, and her arm's kind of hanging over the couch. So I think to myself, I gotta tell her before I forget about this crazy nightmare I just had. So I go to sort of tug on her arm, and I pull her arm off.
Oh my God.
And now I'm holding her arm in my hand. And I'm like, fuck, I'm still dreaming. Because it wasn't bloody, it wasn't gross, it was just her arm. I was just holding it in my hand. So, yeah, so I've had a lot of those. I've had a few in the past years, but a lot of them in my 20s and 30s. And the scariest one I had was I was sleeping, and I'd had one of these, I'd woken up several times, but the last time I woke up, I called for my roommate. And I said, oh my God, I'm terrified, I just had this awful dream. And so he sat on my bed, and he was trying to kind of soothe me and talk to me. And he was my roommate, just looked like my roommate. I was in my room, and my cat came and jumped on my chest, and he leaned over and he proceeded to break my cat's neck right in front of me. So, and at this point I realized I was paralyzed because I was just talking to him, and I guess I hadn't realized at the point that I couldn't move. But as he's breaking my cat's neck, I can't do anything. I can't scream, I can't move, and it's right here, it's right here. I'll never forget it. So, yeah, lots of dreams like that, not a lot of fun, but I did, try to pick up some tips to help me, so there's things that I'll do. My mom was a smoker. She would check how many smokes she had before she went to bed, and if she got up in the middle of the night, she would check her smokes, and she'd remember if she had a full pack and there was one in there, or her lighter wasn't sitting on top, she'd know she was dreaming. She'd know not to sort of get up and move around, which we don't actually get up. We think we are, but we don't. So that's, and
Sounds like some real Freddy Krueger shit. Right?
Yeah. That's terrifying.
Yeah. So it was pretty creepy. It's pretty creepy still, because I still worry. Even had a nap. I was just telling my friend I had a nap a few weeks ago at dusk, and I still think about it. I still think, don't do it. And I have the paralyzing dreams a lot, but not so much those where stuff keeps happening. And then again, I'm not sure what the word is, because I don't think empath is the right word. But when I was living in the house from age 5 to age 12 or whatever, I was super psychic, and I was the only one. But like I said, the ghost only talked to me, and I only saw him. And the one thing, when I was 5, my mom said, "What does he look like?" And I said, He's too thin," is what I said, and I can kind of see through him. So that's what I had said. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Be careful in your dreams tonight, everybody. Sandra. All right, Gio, George, come on up.
Come on down. Are you gonna use the mic or are you gonna?
Yeah, no, I'll try and use it. It seems to work well.
It's a few minutes, it'll be okay.
Or it was pointed towards her mouth before. Can you hear me?
No.
No. I'll pick it up then.
This is George,
Okay.
he's come out a few times, so he's got some
Better?
good stories.
All right. So my name is Standing Brown Buffalo of the Wolf Clan. People call me George. I'm with the Winnipeg Spiritist Society. So we study messages from spirits that have been given through mediums. It's a body of knowledge that we study. Now, so we're talking about shadow spirits and sleep paralysis. So sleep paralysis, I have had one time that happened to me, but it wasn't actually scary. So I was laying in bed beside my partner, and I was doing something with energy. I was changing the flow of the energy somehow. And all of a sudden, I was paralyzed, and I heard someone say no. It was a female, and it was moving through the bedroom, but there was no one there, right? Like, at that time, I knew it was a spirit, and I knew it was because I was doing something I shouldn't. So it wasn't a shadow person. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a good spirit who was protecting me or my partner from somehow. But I have seen shadow people. I think the first one I saw was in the house we used to live in, which was my grandparents' house in Elmwood. And so one night I was laying beside my partner, and Elmwood, yeah. So one night I was laying beside my partner, and she was in between myself and the door. And I looked over her at the doorway, and there was a man standing there, but it was just a shadow. So it was like a living shadow. It was very dark. It was just looking at us. I don't really know whether I was paralyzed. I knew I was half asleep. Right? And then, so I looked at him, and not really understanding that I should be polite, I said, "What do you want?" Right? And then all of a sudden I felt a rush, and then I woke up. And then my partner said that she saw a shadow figure standing in the doorway, and it just all of a sudden flew over us. So that was weird. We saw it at the same time. But yeah, we were both half asleep. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't real, right? Now, when we moved to our new place, there was another thing at that house. Once I was walking home, just up to the door, and I felt a being fly past me, just like that, right? Like, I know it's a person, right? And I couldn't say what they looked like or anything because they were just energy. But I could tell, I perceived, let's say, that they flew into the lock. And when I walked up to the door, I put my key in, snap. But as if it were made of that, as if it were made of powder candy. Like, it was weird. And then so what happened was the key was stuck in the door and we couldn't get in. And so it was not easy, but we got around the front. We got around a different way. But yeah, no, in the place that we lived, the place where we live now, there used to be over 5 years ago. When I was trying to sleep, there were shadow people who were bothering me. So I'd be laying in bed. I don't really think I was paralyzed, but I knew I was half asleep again, right? That first time when I got sleep paralysis, I actually understood what was happening. So I'm like, okay, I'm paralyzed. If I relax, I'll wake up. So I just relaxed and I woke up. That's it. Now this time, so I was laying in bed half asleep, looking on my back, of course, because that's obviously the worst way to lie. But
You're just asking for it.
when, but I could sense that there was a person that was standing over me. But I could tell he was doing something to my chakras, right? So I didn't want him to. So what I did was I covered my heart with my left hand. I covered my belly chakra with my right hand. And then he got really upset at me. And yeah, so they would visit me from time to time. And when I noticed them, I would protect my chakras like that. And it would always frustrate them. They would, there was one time where there was a shadow person that brought a bunch of others with him. And I could tell that he was teaching them how to do this. And it was really weird. But I covered my chakras. He got really frustrated. Began jumping up and down on me while I was in bed, so violently that the bed was breaking. Of course, when I wake up, I look over, my partner's there, she's okay, bed's fine. But yeah, it was intense. Another time he was attacking me, I attacked him back because I didn't really know what I should do. Right? So I was swiping at him with not my physical hands, but spiritual, right? So I was swiping at him. And this actually made him quite happy because he liked the fight, right? So he fought more intensely. And then I'm just like, okay, this is not working. So what I did was I focused upward to the light, and then it was gone, right? Another time when they were bothering me, I reached my energy up as high as I could to the heavens, right? I pulled down light all around me, and they were gone. Right? So you can do things that you may not realize. You're not helpless, right? But it is kind of all in your head. Like if you think that there's nothing you can do, then you're preventing yourself from doing things. You know what I mean? But there's always something you can do if you leave that open like that. So they don't bother me anymore, thankfully. But yeah, I didn't really know what to do. But it's raising your vibration level that protects you from them, nothing else. Like, there's no point in trying to fight them because that's their territory, right? They love a good fight. But when you start bringing light into the equation, they don't like it at all. Right? So if you raise your vibration level, you won't have to deal. Another thing, is there time?
Couple minutes.
So I had this one experience, we're talking about shadow people, but there's other entity, you know? One time I was in a dream, and then I saw spirit coming around. I could see it, and I'm like, it was a glowing ball of light. And I'm like, wow, that's beautiful, right? And then it started, I was awestruck, right? Because it was so beautiful. And then it came towards me. In my dream, I was fighting someone, right? Whatever. What happened was when I started paying attention to this spirit, everything in my dream paused as if it was a game, and it started fading away, right? So the person that was in my dream, I knew it wasn't a real person, right? It was just a fabrication of the mind. So my whole dream just faded away, and then it brought me, because I was focusing on this other spirit who was actually a person, it brought us into kind of a different realm, and it started coming towards me and manifesting as a human. It was the most beautiful thing, person, anything at all. It was so sublime. It was like nothing in this world. Right? I asked my spirit what it is, and they said it was an angel. Right? And so form it took, I knew that it depended on what I considered beautiful. So it took a form that it knew that I would think was beautiful. Perfection in beauty. I couldn't see its face because it was so bright. And you know, when you feel all these negative things around you, you feel when you see a shadow person, they emanate malevolent. This one was emanating pure love, right? Like I knew I was completely safe in their presence. It was like nothing else. And I think it kind of woke me up a little bit too, right? Increased my awareness. It was so incredible. And so it didn't say anything to me, right? It came up to me, it kissed me on the forehead, and that's all it really needed to do. From my perception afterwards, it was kissing me on the forehead because of the weird multidimensional stuff that happens when you're dreaming, right? But it just came to let me know that I was loved, right? And it wasn't just me they meant, it was everyone. So, yeah, and then since then I can feel the pressure on my forehead, right? I don't know whether you know, but sometimes you get that when you meditate, sometimes it goes like this. But yeah, it feels like someone's touching there. Pretty cool. So I figured I'd end on a good note. So,
It's beautiful. Thank you.
See, there's good stuff. I love the good stuff.
All right. That was our last sign up.
Okay, so on to the prizes.
Everybody have their name in? If you haven't put it in, feel free.
Are you sure?
All right.
Marley, you want to pull a name? Carly. All right. Make somebody lucky.
Right, first name, Jordan Chernecki. Jordan, you're here. Jordan, is that you? Two choices. You've got a glass change or the mystery prize. Go
There
for
you
it.
go.
It's yours.
Congratulations. We'll get him to pull before he goes.
We'll get you to pull the next name.
Jordan.
Right, so we have Sarah.
There you go. Awesome.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, I think that pretty much does it for tonight. Thanks, guys. You know, like we didn't think many people come out with the weather and the parking and Megadeth's happening. So I mean, who am I to say we're better than Megadeth? But you know, no, shh, quiet.
You're supposed to just shush and support us.
I know, right?
You're the husband.
He's good. He's good. He's good. He looks after me. But thanks for coming out. We do this. We try to do this every month at the end, last Wednesday of every month. So, you know, if you follow us on any of our socials, or you know, definitely, if you want to reach out to us to tell us a ghost story, please email us at givinguptheghost@gmail.com. I have a couple cards there. I got a few more. We're all about sharing the ghost love. And if you have any issues,
Yeah, please feel free to reach out to us. The best place to reach out to us is our email, which is wpgparanormal@gmail.com. But we're on Facebook, Instagram, you know, all those fun
Everything,
things.
all the good things.
Our events get posted on Facebook, and our ticket site is called Free Common, so you can follow us on there, and I'll email you when we have events that are posted. But yeah, you know, if anybody is experiencing anything at home, needing help with anything, we're more than happy to come out and help you with whatever you need.
yeah, and tell your friends about what we do here at the King's Head. Thank you to the King's Head, Carly and her crew.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And your last.
And never sleep on your back.
And never give up the ghost.
Never give up the ghost.
There you go. Okay,
Have a
thanks.
great night today. Drive safe. And happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sorry, I had to.